G'day everyone, welcome back to another Fantasy and SuperCoach review video on the channel. Going to be reviewing my round 5 teams. And yeah, we just continue to chip away nicely with the overall rankings in both formats. We continue to rise slightly in both games. And geez, was there some carnage this week with a lot of coaches, a lot of subs, rookies being subbed out, a lot of poor rookie scores, and also a lot of poor premium scores. But I felt like we're a little bit fortunate with both our teams. As we're able to dodge most of the primo bullets. So let's kick on with our fantasy team first up. And for round 5, I did get myself a 1940. So compared that to the overall rankings, I think we've moved up. Yeah, we've moved up around 2,500 spots, roughly 2,200 spots. So we are slowly chipping our way up the right way, which we like to see. So yeah, we did field a few premiums. 𝐓𝐴𝐸, 𝐷𝐴𝐿𝐴 were the ones. These are my trades for the round. We did trade out James Jordan for Sam Closey. Didn't field him. Ouch. And traded out Brodie Grundy to Rowan Marshall, which turned out to be a fantastic trade. And I also put the C on him as he got in the end a 138. And yeah, sort of nullified Gawn's score a bit because a lot of people put the VC on him. I didn't, so I needed a big score. So yeah, I'll take a 1940 with a handful of my premiums out with the buy. So yeah, we'll start off. So Blake Howes with the 68. I felt like he'd score well coming back to the MCG. Seems to score well at that venue. And yeah, you take a 68. He almost kicked a goal as well from 50 out, so he could have gotten a little bit higher. And yeah, decided to be a pussy again and go safe and not field Closey. I should have just bit the bullet with Closey and I've gotten a couple more points. But it isn't the end of the world. Rookie roulettes, you win some, you do lose some. Harry Sheezel, 159. What a pig he was this afternoon. He kicked the goal as well late, just marking absolutely everything in their back half. Was even playing higher up the ground. Yeah, he's just a fantasy marvel, this sort of player. Yeah, I mean, you got to feel for the non-owners though. Yeah, he's been a great start. Hayden Young continues to now show some good consistency. He started off the season a little bit slow, but now he's really starting to be a part more of the transition end-to-end for Fremantle and help out in ball movement. You know, he's getting more marks and he's also inside the coal face. He's really clean and getting good possessions and tackling too. Elliot Yeo was one of the best on ground against the Tigers this afternoon. His SuperCoach ratio was massive. He got like a 150, but just the 94 in fantasy. But yeah, really good ball winning ability. Again, the 2 bench rotations a quarter is a bit annoying, but he's just scoring really well. And look, he could be a keeper at the moment. Who knows? He is doing the business. D'Ambrosio, 65. Didn't watch too much of the Hawthorn game because I was flipping between the two. I was more invested, obviously, in that Freo Port game. But I did see he was playing a little bit deeper, a little bit half back. So yeah, it didn't really seem to do his score that well, though. I think with D'Ambrosio the last few weeks, he seems to score well in patches and then fade out throughout phases of a game. And yeah, 65, didn't beat his break even. 78 now, so look, I think he's probably one to move on. He does have North at Marvel this week, and if you've got other concerns, maybe you could keep him and loop him with like a Closey this week. But I think he's probably gone for me. And Zach Williams a 91. Again, a bit of a second half fade out, but a bit of fortune for him though. Unfortunately though, I do want to say it though, with Sidor and McGovern going down with hamstring injuries, it might help out Williams though. A bit freed up in that back half now for Carlton. So hey, I think he can continue to churn out the 80 pluses each week with those 2 players out, and he could make us some more money. So I'm not looking to trade him out at the moment. And then, yeah, Marty Hoare, hopefully he comes back soon after the bye. For the midfielders, Connor Rozee, 100, we take that. Another ton for him. Butters had a really good game too, and he was heavily involved, Rozee. Pretty sure he did kick a goal, did he? Oh, no, he did miss that set shot, actually, that's right. But, yeah, he's been a pretty good starting selection. And same with this guy, Jack Steele, 997k now. He's looking like he's going to be over $1 million at the end of next week. Break even 98. He just continues to really impress. He's tackling. He beat Green convincingly head-to-head against the Giants too. He's in ripping form. I think he's back. 𝐚 Miller with a 94. Didn't ton up again, so that's back-to-back sub-tons for 𝐚. But, you know, I didn't mind his game at all. His SuperCoach ratio is very good, so that usually means he has upside. He was helping out in transition. You know, his work rate's really good. Hopefully he can just churn out some more points over the next few weeks. We probably want a little bit more because he's averaging 98 at the moment, which, isn't the greatest, so let's hope for a bit better. Nick Martin, an 85. Put the VC on him because good opponent, good venue. I thought he'd go off, but was playing a little bit higher up the ground. I noticed against the Doggies, he was sort of, holding his width and maintaining the corridor a little bit when playing high up the ground. So he wasn't getting those cheap +6s as much. So yeah, oh well, but thank God we put the C on Marshall. Riley Bonner got an 80. We take that from a mid-pricer. He sort of, I think the last 2 weeks he's sort of fizzing in and out of games. But, he's a mid-pricer. We're pretty content with that. He gets his cheap marks, of course. Matty Roberts with the bye, so we fielded sharp 65. And yeah, 𝐼𝐿𝐴, here we go. A bit of rookie carnage with 𝐼𝐿𝐴 and Sanders. Unlucky for Colby, though, going out early on with I think he got a bit of a bump to the ribs and had to go to hospital. I think he's okay, but he might be out next week, even if he plays. His break-even is 87. He's easily gone. And yeah, even starting last week, he moved into, started getting CBAs and moved out of that halfback role. Just doesn't suit him because he has a really small frame, so he's unable to win a lot of inside footy. So yeah, he's easily gone this week. And Riley Sanders, unfortunately, copping the bevo again. That's now twice he's been subbed out, and a bit of a concern because he seems to score well when he's on field for the whole game. Maybe there's a bit of a concern with his tank because he does seem to fizz out of games in second halves from what we've seen when he hasn't been subbed out. But he's a quality player. I'll just continue to hold him and hopefully he doesn't get subbed out again because he can definitely... It's proven now. He's been able to churn out a few 80-pluses, so hopefully he can just chip away at that. But yeah, frustrating for all us fantasy and SuperCoach coaches, for sure. And then yeah, Jai Clark with a 2. Cashgen killed. I was hoping surely they don't pull the trigger on the sub in the fourth quarter, but they do with blitz subs. I'm like, okay, oh well, he's now a dead rookie. But yeah, he's a pretty low value one, so it's a bit of an awkward one to trade out, given he's just such low value. Marshall, really good trade in, looking like he's going to be the R2 this year with English churning out a terrible score on Friday night. Yeah, he was just playing the extra midfielder so well for the Saints. He was helping in transition as well with marks. He could have honestly gotten a bigger score. I think he missed 2 shots at goal and he dropped a few marks inside 50, but we take that. Yeah, he's in really, really good form, and we all know about his run up to the next few games against some good-looking opponents against the Rucks. Max Gorn, 149, was carrying the team on his back on Thursday night, getting so many hit-outs. It was a really stoppage-heavy game on Thursday with just so many hit-outs. Yeah, he already had like 25 at quarter time, but yeah, Chamberlain put the VC on him, but in the end, it only cost me 11 points with going Marshall instead, so not the end of the world. Heaney had the bye, so I had to put the E on either Lazaro and Cadman, and this was a bit lucky. I put the E on Lazaro because I saw he was on the bench. I'm like, okay, surely he plays. I was thinking Drury would be the sub. Turns out Lazaro was the sub, so I'm like, bugger, this could hurt me. But bit of luck as 𝐼𝐿𝐴 came off in the first quarter and Lazaro came on and put out a 66, which is pretty good, and I'd say really 3 quarters. So happy with that. But does he keep his spot in the side? Don't know if he does. I mean, he did actually have that clearance, I think, in the fourth quarter, but then he kicked it the wrong way. So I don't know if that will impress Clarko at all. So hopefully he keeps his spot, but I doubt it. Sam Flanders brought him in the other week ago. Yeah, the halfback role is really good for him. McInnes tagged him a little bit, but Flanders was able to break free. Just gets a lot of cheap marks and sitting at the back of stoppages. He just has a great ability to find the footy, Flanders, and his work rate's really good too, so happy with that. Tom Powell, 113, found a lot more of the footy this week, unlike last week against Brisbane. Darcy Wilson with a 70, lifted again in the second half, got that goal late in the Saints' comeback. Harvey Gallagher, disappointing. I brought him in the other week ago feeling like his role was looking good. And again, it was good on Friday. Like, he was getting some CBAs, he was pushing up into stoppages, he was playing on the wing, but he just couldn't get his hands on the footy, and I think he's just hit the wall now, so he's probably going to get dropped. I don't know if he'll get a spot in the side this week, so another red dot perhaps on the team, which is, yeah, a little bit frustrating. So yeah, hopefully he gets a spot this week, who knows, but I still like that role. Hopefully he can bounce back and keep a spot in the side. Harley Reid, 81. He got a 79 or 78 last week, and he's backed it up with a great performance. I think he's a shoo-in to get the Rising Star nomination. He was fantastic. Not really a fantasy-friendly player, though, because he works really hard for his possessions, and he does quite a lot as well. Like, he always wants to break a tackle and gain a few metres before he disposes of it. He's a much better SuperCoach player, but we take an 81 from him. Kicked a goal too, so he'll continue to chip away and churn out some nice scores, hopefully. And yeah, the cash gen's looking good. He's gained 48k and break even 17. And then yeah, on the bench, 𝐼𝐻𝐚 64. He was looking good in the second half. He tackled a lot more, playing as the relief ruck role. So we like to see that. Hopefully he can get some better scores like that over the next few weeks. And then yeah, 𝐓𝐿𝐴, I think I might field him this week with my trades at the moment. He had 2 really good scores in a row. So yeah, that's what it looked like for round 5, 1940, in the top 5,000 for the round 5 ranking. And yeah, moved up about 2,200 spots. For my round 6 trades, this is what I'm thinking early on. This is really points heavy, these trades, but given again it's best 18 and 𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐴 is out, I'll have my lowest 3 scoring not count. Lowest 3 scorers not counting. So, you know, my F4, F5, and F6 scores most likely won't count. So, because of that, I'm feeling, I can just afford this. I actually have 2k left. McKercher is out for Graham, and then Ambrosio out for Sam Walsh. Now, Walsh, I'm a bit sceptical on. I mean, he was nuts, 145. He came back with a bang, but limited preseason. He did this last year as well. He came back his first, I think, 2 games were very good, and then he sort of faded out and just wasn't really getting good enough points in scoring. So I'm a bit worried about that, but if this guy could be a keeper for 886k, it's an absolute steal, given that, you know, you look at the other expensive players and the high averaging players, they're like 950k plus. So I think we could have ourselves a bit of money going with Walsh and, yeah, just ride the hype train with him because he looked fantastic. And, you know, big expectations on this guy to really deliver this season. Had a great final series. Yeah, why not? I feel like we could lock away with him. And then next week we trade out either, I think, Roberts or Sharp and one of these rookies and get in 𝐼𝐿𝐴, who I'm also big on because I probably need to get in another forward and then flip Sanders forward for the best 22 onwards after this round. So that's what it's looking like for fantasy. Let's now move across to SuperCoach. Okay, so now for my SuperCoach review, we did get a 2,056, and yeah, we're moving up the ranks, which is nice to see. Currently sitting in 3,218th place overall. So yeah, good round and a bit of luck on our side again. Similar to fantasy, we did dodge a few of those primo bullets, like English and like Tom Green, for example. We did cop 𝐵𝗏𝗏 though, but you know, pretty much, I mean, half the comp have 𝐵𝗏, so it's not the end of the world. As for our trades, we traded out James Jordan and also Fisher, and we did bring in Will Graham and Sam Flanders. So good trades, and it only costs us 2. We still have 3 boosts left, and yeah, a bit of luck as well with Graham. 14 tackles in the second half. We actually put the E on him and took his score with Roberts having the bye, and then yeah, Flanders scored like 30 more points than Fisher, so it's a good upgrade there. Going through the lines now, Luke Ryan was massive this week. He had like a 60-point final quarter. Just a cheat code in SuperCoach. So many intercept possessions, takes the kick-ins. Yeah, I tried out Hayden Young to get him in, but it's looking like a good decision because he's averaging 135 at the moment. One of the highest averaging plays in SuperCoach out of anybody. So yeah, really, really good trade-in and decision that has paid off at the moment. Harry Sheezel 159. Yeah, just a jet. He is, quite simply. Dan Houston 121. So his highest score of the season. Yeah, was really good on Saturday night. Getting a lot of intercept possessions. Was using it well by foot. And yeah, really enjoyed his game. So happy with that. Dacos the bye. So we took 𝐻𝐿𝐴 62. D'Ambrosio had a much better ratio. SuperCoach wise, he got like a 65 fantasy. 94 in SuperCoach. So he stays another week. That's good to see. He's gained us 20k and a break even of 34. So hopefully he can churn out a bit more money. Zach Williams with a 92. Like we said earlier, I think he could really be freed up now with no Sard and no McGovern for the next few weeks. So let's continue to hold him. Like, that's how I look at him. And yeah, he had a really good first half. 𝐵𝗏𝗏 73. it was just his worst game in years, to be honest. Like, he was just so quiet. Sam Durham, I saw, was going head to head with him a little bit in the midfield, and when he was floating forward, he was just really slow. He just couldn't get on the end of kicks to him inside 50. Yeah, his influence was just really quelled. He was disappointing, so hoping for a bit of a bounce back. But yeah, break even 164 has gone down 33k. But then again, half the comp on him, so it's not the end of the world. Zach Butters a 130. Pretty lucky that he has escaped suspension, so we'll take that. Happy with that. And yeah, it was really good. I think he just started to explode in that second term and just crash packs. And the Energizer Bunny he is. His hand passing, I love the jump hand passes he does. He does them so effectively. So those contest possessions and efficient hand passes definitely helped his score. Kicked the goal late as well in their comeback win against Fremantle. Jack Steele, 143. Yeah, sort of happy that Ollie Wines was injured in the end, because I pretty much traded him out for Steele, and back-to-back 140s for him. He is just looking like a pure gun this year, averaging 130. 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐎𝐿𝐼 bounced back with a 133. Really happy with that. His ball use was fantastic in the coalface and winning so much of those ground balls. But it was at the expense of Hawthorn, I felt. Their midfield is just terrible at the moment. But we will take it with 𝐴𝐶. Riley Bonner, 72. Felt like he was a little bit stitched up by champion data. The last 2 weeks I feel like he's actually been going quite well by foot. But he seems to be getting negative scores at the moment compared to his DT scores. So a bit annoying, but he continues to gain us money. So his break-even's now 57. He could maybe churn out another 20k and get us to 400, and it'll be a perfect stepping stone to a primo. So we'll keep him for one more week. He has a good matchup this week against the Dogs at Marvel. Roberts with the bye. So yeah, we took Graham. 14 tackles I think he had in the second half. Was looking really good, and he just has a really good body on him, and I like him in the midfield. He just shows really good intensity. So yeah, hopefully he can continue to put out some nice scores. Riley Sanders, we talked about him earlier, got subbed out, so we had to see it, but I think we just hold on him. Hopefully he doesn't get bevoed anytime soon, because he'll get forward status, and we have seen, from what we've seen, when he plays full games, he seems to score well. And then, 𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐼 got a 6. Again, said in the fantasy segment, he's just easily a dead rookie now. And all the best to him with his injury. But still, though, the new role in the midfield, him getting CBAs, just doesn't work for fantasy and SuperCoach-wise. Just can't get his hands on it. And then, Jai Clark, again, another dead rookie. And I've just been sitting on Clay Hall all season long with taking 𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐼 score in round 1. Max Gawn, put the VC on him. Pretty happy with that. A lot of people put the captaincy on like Tom Green and Bontempelli. So we definitely gained a lot of points there. And then, Grundy with the bye. And then moving on to the forward line, Sam Fleeners 116. So happy with that trade in from Fisher. Tom Powell, again, another negative score compared to his fantasy. Was a little bit ineffective by foot, but look, he looked good. He got a lot of marks, and he was tackling all right, but still is a little bit fumbly. So, he just pushed home well to get a pretty respectable score in the end. But he looked like a little bit of a concern throughout the first 2.5 quarters. But he's gotten us money. He's gone up over 100k. So he's still looking like a keeper. So let's just hope he just chips away with some nice scores. Harley Reid, sensational. He's just a much better SuperCoach player than he is fantasy, just because he gets so many of those contested possessions. He gets clearances. Almost every one of his disposals are contested possessions, because he doesn't really get much junk. Like he only got, I think, like 2 marks this week, and also last week against the Swans. But I think he's a player to field for the next few weeks. He's now gaining confidence, which I think could really fuel him to continue to score well. Ollie Dempsey with the 56 was really quiet in the first half, but was able to salvage his score a little bit with kicking a goal and getting involved a little bit more. But we all thought he'd feast up a little bit more against the Kangas, so 56 a bit disappointing. But he's 298k with a break even of 33. Again, I think he's a good fieldable option, just because I really like the way he goes, and he played a little bit more high up the ground in the second half. Sam Darcy, I thought he was one of the Bulldogs' best players on Friday night. He honestly could have gotten a bigger score. He missed a few sitters, but just that frame he has, just the extra height advantage over 𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐼 and Macca was just evident on Friday night. He was able to take those contested marks. So he was really good, and he's sharing the ruck time with English. So yeah, again, he's probably a fieldable forward option for the next few weeks. So, yeah, we're taking 82. Aaron Cudman, 64, the exact same in fantasy. And Darcy Wilson at 61. So, yeah, got a little bit less than he did in fantasy. But, yeah, got the goal late. And, yeah, he's starting to get a little bit involved more in the Saints ball movement, which we like to see. So, yeah, 204k, he just seems to be a bit of a slow burn type at the moment. So, yeah, that's what the team did look like for round 5. And now for what I'm thinking for my trades. I've got 30 trades left with 3 boosts. I want to try and save my trades just because they're so valuable for later in the season. So the first out, I'm definitely going to be bringing in 𝐼𝐸. I brought in Graham last week, not 𝐼𝐸. I could have boosted to bring in 𝐼𝐸 and take his score, but probably wouldn't have been worth a boost. Maybe it would have been, I don't know. But now this week he is on the bubble 𝐼𝐸, so let's bring him in before he does go up, because he could go up over 100k. Because, wait, hold on, what's his break even? Negative 174. Yeah, he's definitely in. Out for Howes though, or in for Howes though, I should say, sorry. So again, I'd like to keep Howes, but there's just not really many other options. I could go out, could trade out Jai Clark instead. But what I'm thinking though is 𝐓𝐸𝐿𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐻, and again, this saves me a boost. I can go 𝐓𝐓𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐻 out to Elliot Yeo. Again, a bit of risk attached to him, but he's just looking like a keeper at the moment. Quite simply, he's looking like a keeper. He's averaging 115, and when you go to players, right, and go to player averages, so yeah, you've got the big boys here, but then look here with Elliot Yeo, 115 average, and look at that price, 530k. Like, he's still fantastic value, and his break even is very low, 14. There we go. So he could go up to 600k, I think. He doesn't look like he's slowing down. And as he said with the trip to Qatar, he says he's been in the best shape he's been in years. He's moving so well. His SuperCoach ratio is much better too, because he gets a lot of contested possessions. Yes, the Togs are concerned, but why not ride this wave? And it's an upgrade to the team too. So we're trading out 2 rookies and bringing in a gun of Yeo, who I think could genuinely be a keeper. So he sits in the midfield for me. And then for the trades next week, I could probably look to move on D'Ambrosio down to a rookie, and maybe get out Bonner to Sam Walsh perhaps. So we can wait a week on Walsh, and if he's good, we can trade out Bonner to Walsh. And again, that saves us a boost. So that's what it's looking like. The forward line's a little bit of a concern perhaps with the 3 rookies, but these 3 are scoring well at the moment, and there's not really too many other options with forwards. I mean, there's probably 𝐸𝐸𝐻. I could actually go with 𝐸𝐸𝐻 instead of Yeo, so I'll have a think about that. But yeah, that's what it's looking like for SuperCoach. We continue to rise up the ranks. Let's now have a quick look at my Fantasy and SuperCoach Leagues leaderboard update. Now, unfortunately, there's no filter here. I can't click on the points last round because I'd love to see who scored the highest out of my league. So I think just for the next few weeks, we're just going to have to continue looking at the overall rankings. So Fantasy Prodigy, again, sitting top. I think last week it was a bit higher. Was he? Or am I... Yeah, he was 49th, so yeah, unfortunately he's gone down a little bit. He got an 1871, so yeah, bit of a shame of a score from him. Bontempelli really let him down, and Jordan Clark too. At least he took the 𝐵𝐴𝐻𝐸. Luke Jackson's been disappointing now, and Darcy back in. Yikes, could be maybe one to trade out for the owners. Fisher doing well, chipping away with 80s. Windsor could be a trade out now. Harley Reid, at least he took his score. But yeah, a bit of carnage for him though. But yeah, hoping the likes of Clark could maybe bounce back, and for sure Bontempelli. Across now to my SuperCoach League leaderboard updates, and 𝐼𝐸𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐻 again sits top in my SuperCoach group. He's got 10,675 total points, and he's sitting 302nd overall. Very nice indeed. And he got a score of 2017, so not the greatest round 5 score from him, but he's sitting in the top 500. Love to see it. Luke Jackson could be a concern from him. Could look to also move on to 𝐼𝐸 now. He seems to be maxed out at that price. Who else has he got? Jack Steele's been good. Sarong has chipped away with some probably floor scores, I guess you can say. So his break-even's high. I might consider getting him in the next few weeks. Tom Green let him down. 𝐼𝐸𝐻, though, he fielded, which was good. McGovern was a little bit quiet, though, just because most of the ball was in West Coast forward half, so that's a bit disappointing for McGovern owners. But yeah, at least he took the VC of 𝐸𝐻𝐿 with 138. And for the highest scorer in my SuperCoach group, it was Cheesington with 2,103. Nathaniel's side, we like to see that. So he did get, probably, I'm assuming he traded Marshall this week. That's a very good in. A little bit stitched up, though. He went massive in fantasy, but not as big as in SuperCoach. 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐎𝐥𝐝 Flanders Powell, very good. He has no 𝗍𝐼saac 𝐴𝐸 though, so he's chipping away nicely with no 𝐴𝐸. Butters 130, big score from him. Green letting down. Crouch was massive in the last 5 minutes, so that's a good, we like to see that for the owners, but he is suspended though, so do you hold on him? Who knows? But yeah, Yo was massive, and I'm looking to bring him in this week. So overall, that was my fantasy and SuperCoach team review for round 5. Let me know how you lot are going with your teams down below in the comments. Who are you planning on bringing in this week? What are your overall rankings looking like? Still early days, but yeah, we want to try and rise up the ranks together. So hopefully you lot did enjoy today. And until next time, I will talk to you later. See you later, fellas.